A man who spent 3 decades in prison for a murder he says he did not commit could be a big step closer to freedom as soon as tomorrow. Crosley Green was found guilty of shooting and killing 22-year-old Chip Flynn in 1989. Prosecutors relied on the word of Flynn's former girlfriend, Kim Halleck, even though law enforcement thought she might be the shooter. Erin Moriarty, who's followed this case since 1999 for 48 hours, spoke with Green ahead of the federal appeals court hearing.
My name is Crosley Green. I've been convicted for a crime I didn't commit. 31 years. That's enough to break a man. That's enough to destroy a man.
In the early morning hours of April 4th, 1989, 22-year-old Charles Flynn, known as Chip, was found in a Florida orange grove with a single bullet in his chest, still alive. Flynn's former girlfriend, Kim Halleck, told police that a black man had robbed the couple, hijacked them, and then shot Flynn.
I don't believe a word she says.
Brevard County first responders Mark Rixey and Sergeant Diane Clark questioned why Halleck didn't immediately call 911. Instead, she drove to a friend's house.
Something's wrong here. Something is not ringing true.
More surprising was what happened when they found Flynn, lucid and talking.
First words out of his mouth were, "Get me out of here. I want to go home."
Did he mention anything about an assailant?
Nope.
No.
I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here?
Flynn was pronounced dead at the hospital. Halleck was never investigated as the possible shooter, even though she admitted she had argued with Flynn, who was seeing another woman. Instead, detectives arrested 31-year-old Crosley Green, a small-time local drug dealer, and charged him with kidnapping, robbery, and murder.
It was a total shock. This was like picking a name out of a hat.
Halleck, who said she didn't get a good look at the assailant, picked Green's photo from what his attorneys say was a rigged lineup.
Crosley Green's picture is put in what is known in investigative circles as the bullseye, because it's where your eyes naturally go to first.
Rixey and Clark, now retired, went to the assistant state attorney handling the case, Christopher White, and told him they believed Kim Halleck was the shooter. White took notes.
I reviewed all the evidence that we had with that hypothesis in mind.
He spoke about that meeting in 2015.
Do they give me cause to believe that Kim Halleck may have committed this murder? My answer is no.
Prosecutors built their case around 3 witnesses, including Green's sister Sheila, who testified that Green had confessed to them. Green was offered a deal, but he turned it down.
I can't plead guilty to something I didn't do.
On September 5th, 1990, an all-white jury convicted Green. But since then, Sheila Green and the other witnesses have recanted. Green got his biggest break when his attorneys obtained something Christopher White never intended them to see, those notes from the meeting with Mark Rixey and Diane Clark.
Mark and Diane suspect the girl did it. She changed her story a couple of times. Also noticed she never asked how the victim was.
In July 2018, a federal judge ruled that withholding those notes from Crosley Green kept him from getting a fair trial, and he reversed his conviction.
Our Constitution prohibits the government from hiding evidence of innocence, and that's what happened here.
And yet, because the state of Florida is appealing, Green is still in prison.
I want the truth to come out, okay? The truth of this case is that I've been locked up all these years for a crime I didn't commit. And hopefully I get that chance to go home. That's the truth.
The Florida Attorney General's office says that it's unable to comment on this pending case, but in a brief filed last year, it called the federal court's decision to reverse Green's conviction procedurally, factually, and legally incorrect. We've also reached out to Kim Halleck and the former Assistant State Attorney, Christopher White, who have not responded to our request for comment. I would love to sit down with Kim Halleck. She has never spoken to me, and all she has to do is kind of explain what happened.
Where is she now?
She is living in Titusville, going on with her life. while, of course, right now, Crosley Green is sitting in prison. Now, he's going to get closer, I think, to having a real decision here. Tomorrow morning, and I'll be there, the federal appellate court will hear oral arguments. And if the court rules in his favor, then he either has to get a new trial within 60, 90 days, they'll have to decide, or let him go home.
Wow.
All right. Erin,
30
thank
years
you very
served.
much. We hope justice will be served.